Oh, this is going to be a tough one. It's draft weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It has been a long one. I'm a little wore out, and it's going to be a tough day to get started. Wait a minute. I got an idea. Much better. Now, after all that, it's been a long weekend with all of the athletic matrix stuff. I hope you guys caught all that on the Twitter feed. It's all out there. The Chiefs made one thing really clear, and we're going to talk about that in depth as things go on. But for right now, one theme that Brett Veach put out there and this team has followed through on: get tougher. You can see guys that they chose based on their toughness at every spot on the field, first, second, and third levels. From guys who make plays like this, and like this, and like this, it's clear that Brett Veach had a plan and he followed it. It's one of those things that he zeroed in, maybe a little bit too much, but we're going to talk about that in another video when we talk about specifically the first draft pick in the second round. Breeland speaks. We'll talk about that later, but he had a plan. Obviously, this whole playoff loss really left its mark. I know a lot of fans were upset. It was difficult to watch. It was just one of those deals, but clearly the organization has been affected by it as well, Brett Veach in particular. He mentioned it multiple times about allowing that drive to go on at the end of the game, and I think that's a really good sign for being able to make up for what their shortcomings have been in the last season or two. We'll talk specifically about Speaks, but Speaks is a big guy. He can play, I think, probably the 5 technique the best. He's a good penetrator. He can perform on stunts. He has stood up. I'll give him that. I don't think he's as effective doing that, but I haven't gone through all the film. So we'll take their word for it at this point. I still think you're going to see him do something like Tano did in reverse last year, where they brought in K-Pass, thought they're going to make him a 5 technique. He ended up going back outside where he began anyway. I think you're going to see the opposite with Breeland. They might start him an outside backer and end up with a 5. So it's going to be what it is. But then when they go on and they get Derrick Nnadi, who's going to be a run plugger in the middle, the perfect kind of thing to fix what you saw against the Titans, I think that's a great pick. That's probably the most sound pick in terms of where most analysts had them graded, including myself, versus where they were taken. Dorian Daniel, what a great story, right? Just having Fuller there with him at the time is a great piece. But as I went deeper into the film, I see a guy that really can be what they want him to be. I mean, he is Dan Sorensen's replacement. Nickel linebacker, strong safety, can cover in the slot a little bit, even though he doesn't have the greatest long speed, not a huge burner. When you look at that list, he's a hybrid guy that can get it all done, and he plays with some attitude like you saw in that clip. All the way down the line, Armani Watts, same way. Haven't pulled up video on him yet, but we're going to go through each of the draft picks as we go through the summer. I'll definitely do a review on each of them so that you all can see what's going on. Now, before I get too deep into what I think, if you would just subscribe and hit that notification bell, and please leave me some comments. I want to know what you guys think, and I'm about to tell you what I think. But I want this place to be someplace you can leave your opinion. Everybody be nice to each other, and let's talk about what you see that maybe I don't, or what you feel after hearing what I have to say. The way I take it is this, that no matter what they're doing, they're trying to get better, they're trying to get bigger. And after seeing what they did against the Titans and having that streak for the whole season, I think that's a good approach to it. Yes, I like the Hitchens addition, like Ragland. These guys are going to be able to get more done on their own by beefing up the front. It will help Ragland. It will help Hitchens. I still think they're going to need some outside pressure. We'll see what comes back with D Ford. I don't expect a rotational thing with Speaks. I expect Dorian Daniel to get on the field right away. I expect Nnadi to get on the field right away. That rotation at the very least, whether he starts over Williams or not, we'll deal with all that. But they've got 2 guys that can play nose. They've got probably 4 guys that can play end in the 3-man front. They can rotate them all through the 3 technique. So you're good up front. You have the horses. Now you have the depth that maybe they didn't have before. The attitude helps them a lot, and I think that's something this team's been lacking up front. Justin Houston can't do it all himself. So I think the net is that you're going to see more performance out of Justin Houston and D Ford if he's healthy enough to go. So take that as a positive. You might see some changes, some guys that have been here for a while that have some heavy contracts, you might see them departing. Just kind of be prepared for that. But overall, I like the direction it's going. You know me, I'm always for playing defense and running the ball, and I think those 2 things are tough guy schemes, you know? Having this big edge kind of concept, and we'll talk more about Speaks, like I said, later, but this big edge, this big front, it helped Philly. It helped the Bears back in the day, which Bears front is another thing we're going to talk about. Remind me of that. It's something that's going to help them overall. Get teams more and more into 3rd and long, not 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 4 like you saw so much in 2017. That's going to help the DBs, which that's another video about what's going to happen there because they chose not to address it, and that's something that I'm still a little bit jury out on. I would have liked to see a prime time corner. I like where Steven Nelson's at. You know, he'll probably start on the outside, shift in when they go to a 3-man. Don't know about the press credentials for the other guys. Kendall Fuller's a great corner. He's gonna be good. Press isn't exactly his thing. Same thing for David Amerson, so it's gonna be a little bit trial and error. I think that's probably like the 2nd-year plan. Maybe this isn't something that Veach feels that they can fix right away, but clearly the way that it's stuck in his head about allowing the Tennessee Titans to run the ball on them has made an impression, and that's what they're gonna do first. Gunther said it a long time ago. Stop the run and you'll take a team's will. And that's what they have to do. So I'm looking forward to that. I've got a lot of ideas as we move on to what's going to end up on this channel. And obviously there's going to be a ton of Chiefs talk. I'm going to do some NFL stuff too. It's not going to be all Chiefs all the time. I will do a whole series probably of videos about how to make videos, how to make podcasts, equipment that you want. Oh, and that reminds me, I'll put some links down below. If anybody wants to start doing this themselves, I'll throw the camera and the stuff that I'm using right now. I'm just starting out. I decided to get a decent camera and go from there. Everything else is kind of mashed together, so it's something that you can do too. And everybody should have a voice, whether it's on here or in the comments section below, or leave us a voicemail on the podcast. And if you don't know me from the podcast and you just found me, make sure you subscribe down here below. But you can find us on there. It's called Locked On Chiefs. Just check out the comments. I'll leave a link down there as well. And, for now, I think we'll sign off and we'll call it a day because I'm wore out and I need a lot more coffee. But have a good one. Hope you're happy with the draft, and I'll see you next time.